Right, come on, let's start from question number 31 onwards. Train A running at 108 km per hour takes 15 seconds to cross a pole. How much time will train B take running at 54 km per hour to cross the pole? We have to calculate the time it requires to cross the pole. If its length is one third of the length of train A. Now, usually what we can do is using the information given for train A, we can definitely calculate length of train A. Take one third of that, that is going to be length of train B. And as you also know, speed of train B, we can convert into time. That is traditional way. But logical, if you want to conclude, to cross train A length, whatever it is there, at the speed of 108 kilometer per hour, time it takes is 15 seconds. But train B speed is 54, which is exactly half of this. The same distance, train A length, at the rate of 54 kilometer per hour. If time becomes half, if speed becomes half, time should be double. So it takes double the time, which is equal to 30 seconds to cover how much distance? Train A. Now, if distance becomes one third, with the same speed to cover one third of train A length, it definitely takes one third of the time taken. That is equal to 10 seconds. For your understanding purpose, I have written here, but otherwise nothing is required. Time becomes half, speed becomes half, time should be double. 15 double in the sense 30 seconds it takes to cover train A length at the speed of 54 km per hour. If distance becomes one third, time also becomes one third. Out of 30 seconds, one third is equal to 10 seconds. First option answer. Next, sum of 5 consecutive odd numbers of set A is 125. What will be the sum of set B containing 4 consecutive odd numbers if the smallest odd number of set B is 16 more than the highest odd number of set A? In set A, we have 5 numbers. You are given sum of 5 numbers. Average is equal to divided by 5, which is going to be middle number. Divided by 5 is equal to 25. Okay, least number in set A we have. Middle number in set A we have. What will be the sum of set B numbers containing 4 consecutive odd numbers? Here also these are consecutive odd numbers. You are asked to calculate sum of those numbers. If the smallest odd number in set B is, this number is 16 more than highest odd number of set A. In set A, all are consecutive odd numbers. So this is 27 and it is 29. To this, if you add 16, you'll get least number in set B. 29 plus 16, that is equal to 45. Now, other numbers are 47, 49, and then 51. You need to calculate sum of all the numbers. Sum of these two numbers is equal to 100. Sum of these two is equal to 92. And answer is 192. A's age 8 years ago was equal to twice of B's age 2 years back. A's age 8 years back. Let's continue the question. C is 6 years older than B. If the respective ratio of between percentages of A and C is equal to 8:5, B's percentage is how much? Now, A's percentage is 8 parts, C's percentage is equal to 5 parts. In first condition, you are saying that it is given that A's age 8 years back. Percentage of A is 8 parts. 8 years back minus 8 is equal to 2 times of B's age 2 years back. B's age 2 years back becomes B minus 2. C is 6 years older than B. Whereas C age is equal to 5 parts. If 5 parts is equal to 6 years older to B, then B age is equal to 5 parts minus 6. So in place of B, we can write 5 parts minus 6 minus 2 also is there. That is minus 8. 2, 4 times here, 4 times here. So it is 4 parts minus 4 is equal to 5 parts minus 8. From this, P is equal to 4. Your question is to identify B's percentage. 5 parts in the sense 5 into 4, 20. B value is equal to 6 comes to left hand side. 20 minus 6, 14 answer. Next. A and B started a business. B's investment was 4,000 more than A's investment. At the end of 9 months from the start of the business, B left and C joined after 9 months only. C joined with an investment which was 6,000 more than A. If the respective ratio between total annual profit and B's share, total annual profit and B's share in profit was 11:5, what was the investment of A? Now, let us start with A's investment as A. B invested 4,000 more than A and C invested 6,000 more than A. A is there from the beginning till the end, that is all the time he is there. So time period is 12 months. And B left after 9 months. So B will be there for 9 months. C joined after 9 months. So he will be there for only 3 months. Cancellation with 3 times here, 3, 4 times here. Right now, it is clearly mentioned that B is getting 5 parts profit out of total 11 parts. Apart from 5 parts, how much more we have in 11 parts? 6 parts we have. Who will get 6 parts? Both A and C will get. A is equal to A's share is equal to 4 into A, that is 4A. And B's share is equal to A plus 6,000, that is equal to total 5A plus 6,000. This is going to be profit share of both A and C. Whereas B is getting 3A plus 12,000. 3A plus 12,000. Now, A and C together get 6 parts, whereas B alone gets 5 parts. 5 into 5, 25A. 6 into 3A, 18A. Difference is 7A is equal to 6,000 into 5, 30,000. 12,000 into 6, 72,000. 72,000 minus 32,000. Difference is equal to 42,000. 7, how many times? 6,000 times. Your question is to identify A's share investment made by A, which is equal to 6,000. Next, Ram and Sini spend 60% and 70% of their respective monthly salaries on monthly expenditures. Sini kept 80% of the remaining salary as savings and she gave the remaining 2,100 to her sister. What was Ram's monthly expenditure if his monthly salary is 25% less than Sini? Right. Now, your question is about Ram. Ram expenditure and Ram salary compared with respect to Sini. Let's start with Sini. Sini income, let us assume 100%. Income they are talking about. Monthly salary of Ram is 25% less than Sini. 25% less than Sini in the sense that becomes 75%. Okay. Now, you are asked to calculate Ram monthly expenditure. Ram expenditure is 60%. Ram is spending 60%. What is 60% of this number? 10% double and triple, or you can say 50% plus 10%, or 10% into 6, or 10% double and triple. 10% is 7.5, double 15, triple 45. So finally we have to calculate how much is 45%. 45% should be 9 multiple. Answer should be 9 multiple. First option can be your answer. Second can be your answer. Multiple options are there. We have to continue. Come on. And Sini spent 75%. Yes, we have 75%. Next. Sini kept 80% of the remaining salary. If 25% is expenditure, remaining money is 25%. Out of this 25%, he kept 80%. 80% in the sense out of this, 80% is 20 and the remaining is 5%. Next. And she gave the remaining 2,100 to her sister. So 5% is equal to 2,100. Then 1% is 2,100 divided by 5. We need 45%. That is equal to into 45. 5 9 times here. 9 2,000 times, that is 9 2,000 times 18,000. 100 into 9 900. 18,900 is our answer. Next. A trader sold an article at 12% loss. Had he sold the same article for 109.2 more, he would have earned a profit of 30%. What would be the selling price of the article if it is sold at 40% profit? Selling price when there is a profit of 40%. You have to sell the item at 140 percentage. 140 percentage should be 7 multiple. Answer should be 7 multiple. First option is 7 multiple. Second is 7 multiple. Multiple options are there. We have to calculate. Come on. A trader sold an article at 12% loss. Loss will be on negative side. That can be treated as minus 12. Had he sold the same article for 109.2 more, he would have earned a profit of 30%. Instead of getting minus 12, if you are getting plus 30, difference is equal to 42%. And you are getting 42% difference because of this number only. Then 109.2 rupees is equal to 42 percentage. Then 1% value is equal to divided by 42%, 42. And we need to calculate 140 percentage into 100 into 140 is equal to how much? 14, 10 times here, 14, 3 times here, 3, 3 times 9, 19 we have 8.12 in the sense 4. 38.4 into 10 in the sense that is equal to 384. 384 is our final answer. Something wrong. 3 times 19 we have 8. Sorry, this is not 8 times. 6 times. 6 times 0.4 into 10 that is equal to 364. 364 second option answer. Perimeter of a square whose diagonal is 34 root 2. Perimeter in the sense for perimeter of the square is, that's what we need to know, is equal to perimeter of this rectangle. Square perimeter and rectangle perimeter both are equal. Diagonal of the square is mentioned as 34 root 2. Diagonal is equal to a into root 2. Root 2 gets cancelled. A is equal to 34. Perimeter is equal to 4 into 34. This is for square. Even this is equal to perimeter for the rectangle according to the condition. Perimeter of the rectangle 2 times of L plus B. 2 times here. So this value is equal to 68, which is L plus B. If the difference between length and breadth is 12. So 12 is equal to difference between both. And now you're asked to calculate area. And out of this, if you want to get length, that is sum divided by 2, which is equal to 40. And breadth is equal to difference divided by 2, that is equal to 28. Now when you're asked to calculate area of the rectangle, that is product of these two numbers, as you have 0, you'll have 0. 4 into 8, 32. Answer should end with 20. How many options are ending with 20? There is only one. 1120 is our final answer. Next. A jar contains a mixture of mango juice and water juice in the respective ratio 22:3. 50 liters of this quantity is taken out. 25 liters of water added. If water was 34% in the resultant mixture, what was the initial quantity in the mixture? Initial quantity in the mixture is total 25 parts. Answer should be 25 multiple. Except fifth option, all are 25 multiples only. So multiple options are there. We have to calculate. Now, from the initial container, you are taking out 50 liters. Remaining quantity we have. I am talking about only remaining quantity. Even in remaining quantity also, milk, juice and water. Juice and water will be in the same ratio, that is 22:3 parts. This is after taking out 50 liters from the total container. If the total container is having X liters, from that, if you subtract 50 liters, you'll have remaining quantity. Even in remaining quantity also, juice and water will be in the ratio 22:3. Now to this, we are adding 25 liters of water. So juice is 22 parts and water is 3 parts. But to this, we are adding 25 liters. And now water percentage is 34%. Then remaining 66% should be juice only. 22 3 times here. Now 34 parts is equal to 9 parts plus 3 into 25, 75. If 9 comes to left hand side, 25 parts is equal to 75. Now remaining quantity is having 22 parts of juice and water 3 parts, that is 25 parts. 25 parts is equal to 75. But this is equal to only remaining quantity. But to get X value, to this we have to add 50 liters quantity that we have taken out. Now answer is 75 plus 50, that is 125. 125, fourth option is our answer. A can finish a piece of work in 40 days. He worked alone for 15 days and then B joined him. Together they could finish the remaining work in 15 days. In how many days B alone can finish the same piece of work? Right. Now, A alone can complete the work in 40 days. He started working and he worked for 15 days. After that, B came to picture. And now B and C together they are working for 15 days. Meaning A worked for alone 15 days along with B 15 days. That is total he worked for 30 days. Total he worked for 30 days. But to complete the work, he is supposed to work for 40 days. Out of 40 days, A already worked for 30 days. Now, with respect to A still need to work for 10 more days. But still work completed. Why? Because B joined and B also worked with him. B worked with him for how many days? 15 days. Now, whatever the remaining work that is left over here, that is completed by B in 15 days. If A can complete the work in 10 days, the same is completed by B in 15 days. Your question is about B can complete the total work in how many days? A can complete the total work in 40 days. So that means 40 days of A's work is equal to how many days of B's work? 10 4 times here, 15 4 times. Answer 60 days. This is one way. The other way is 1 day work of A is equal to 40. 1 day work of B is equal to 1 by B. A worked for 30 days. Work done by A is 30 by 40. B worked for 15 days. 15 days of B's work is equal to 15 by B. And this is equal to total work. 3 by 4 goes to the other side. That becomes 1 by 4. 15 by B is equal to 1 by 4. B is equal to 4 into 15. 60 answer. Anything is fine. A boat can travel 6.4 kilometers downstream in 16 minutes. 8.7 kilometers upstream in 29 minutes. Now look at this. Downstream here and then upstream here. There are two different cases. 6.4 kilometers distance is covered in 16 minutes. This is one case. And then in upstream, 8.7 kilometers is covered in 29 minutes. 29 minutes. Now your question is, what is the total time it takes to travel 36 kilometers upstream and the same distance in downstream? Using this information, we can calculate downstream speed here, upstream speed here, and 36 by downstream speed is time taken to cover 36 kilometers in downstream. And if you use 36 by upstream, that gives you time taken to cover 36 kilometers in upstream. And if you add both, you'll get your answer. And then here, instead of using that, without calculating downstream speed and upstream speed, still we can answer the question. To cover 36 kilometers, how much time it takes? For 6.4 kilometers, it is taking 16 minutes. 10 times of this number is 64. 1/4 of 64 is equal to 16. 10 times of this number is 360. 1/4 is equal to 90 minutes. Next, 10 times is equal to 87. 1/3 is 29. To cover 36 kilometers, 10 times of this number is 360. 1/3 is 120 minutes. So now your final answer is 120 minutes plus 90 minutes. That is equal to total 210 minutes. 210 minutes can be also written as, we can write 210 minutes as 3 hours, 180 minutes and 30 more minutes. So 3 hours, 30 minutes is our final answer, which is fifth option. So here we have not calculated downstream speed and upstream speed. Whatever first line I have written here, that is just for your understanding purpose, so that you can easily understand how we got 90 using 36, how we got 120 using 36. Next. So now these are number series questions. So we'll try to complete these number series questions. And then quadratic equations also. So we don't skip this. We will definitely do it. Now, 2 and 1. -2 minus 1. -2 minus 1 is our combination because -3 we have. Then factors are 2 comma 1 divided by coefficient of x square. And then 15 we have. 15 can be written as -5 into -3, that is equal to -8. Then factors are +5 comma +3. This value is equal to 1 and it is 1 by 2. Both are positive numbers, so clearly we can say x is less than y. 1 comma 5, x less than y, x less than y, x less than y, x less than y. Direct answer. Next, 47. 5, 2. Direct values minus 5, minus 2, minus 7, right? So factors are plus 5 comma plus 2 divided by coefficient of x square. Next, for y, 2 into 3, 6 we have. That can be written as minus 6 into minus 1. Product is 6 satisfied and that is minus 7. Now factors are 6 comma 1 divided by coefficient of y square, which is equal to 2. This value is equal to 3 and this value is equal to 1 by 2 and it is equal to 1. This itself is sufficient to answer the question. 1 and 3, x less than y, 1 and 1 by 2, x greater than y. Less than greater than condition we are getting, relation cannot be established, fourth option answer. Now 18 we have, 18 can be treated as 9 into 2 plus 9 plus 2, that is plus 11. Then factors are minus 9 comma minus 2. And then for y, 48 we have, 48 can be treated as 12 into 4 plus 12 plus 4, that is plus 16. Then factors are minus 12 and then minus 4. This value is sufficient to answer the question. Minus 4 will be in between these two numbers, so relation cannot be established. Second option answer. X is equal to minus 4 whole square. Then x value is equal to minus 4 whole square in this in 16. Then y is equal to, y square is 256. 256 can be written as plus 16 whole square or minus 16 whole square also. Then y value is plus 16 or it can be minus 16 also. Both are equal, x is greater than y. X greater than y and also equal condition. Greater than or equal condition we are getting first option. Next. Plus 7 plus 3, that is equal to plus 10. Then factors are minus 3 comma minus 7 divided by coefficient of y x square, which is equal to 3. Next 3 comma 1 plus 3 plus 1 plus 4. Then factors are minus 3 minus 1 divided by coefficient of x square, that is 3. So you can forget about 3 here because everywhere we have 3. Now if you observe this, minus 3 equal condition, minus 3 minus 1 x less than y condition and also equal condition we got. Minus 7 minus 3 less than condition, minus 7 minus 1 less than condition. So x less than or equal to y condition, that is our final answer. Now these are also data sufficiency questions, so we don't have to skip, directly we can answer them. Is n even or odd if n is a natural number? If n is a natural number, we need to decide whether n is even number or odd number. You have to choose only one, either even or odd. Now 3 power n plus 1 divisible by 4. This is the information given. So here statement says 3 power n plus 1 is divisible by 4. Information given. 3 power n in the sense it can be 3 power 1 plus 1 or 3 square plus 1 or 3 cube plus 1 or 3 power 4 plus 1. If it is the case, how much is this? 3 plus 1, 4, 9 plus 1, 10, 27 plus 1, 28, 81 plus 1, 82. Is this number divisible by 4? Yes, it is divisible. Is this number divisible by 4? No. Is this number divisible by 4? Yes. Is this divisible by 4? No. Observe this. Yes, no condition we are getting. Even if you continue, you get the same. So in which particular case is that number divisible by 4? In first case. So this cannot be your possibility. You are not supposed to consider exponent 2 here. You are not supposed to consider x is 4 here. So the number 3 power n plus 1 is divisible by 4 only when n value is odd number. So we can say is n is even or odd, in the sense we can clearly say n is odd number, because in this particular format, if n is odd number, then only the number is divisible by 4. So n cannot be even number, n should be only odd number. So what is n? Odd number it is, to satisfy this condition. So we are able to get answer n is odd number by using information in first statement. One alone is sufficient. Next, like that we also have one more. 4 power n minus 1 is divisible by 3. 4 power n minus 1 in the sense it can be 4 to the power of 1 minus 1, 4 square minus 1, 4 cube minus 1, or 4 power 4 minus 1. 4 minus 1, 3. 4 square, 16 minus 1. 16 minus 1, that is equal to 15. 4 cube, 64. 64 minus 1, 63. 4 to the power of 4, 256 minus 1, 255. Now, is this number divisible by 3? Yes. Is this number divisible by 3? Yes. Is this divisible by 3? Yes. So every form it is divisible by 3. Now let's decide whether n is even or odd. N is odd here, n is even here, n is odd here, n is even here. So for any value of n, whether it may be a even number or it may be a odd number, for any number it is satisfying. So here by using second statement, we cannot decide whether n is even or n is odd. It can be anything. But whereas in first statement, we can decide n should be only odd number. But in second statement, it can be any number. For any number, it is satisfying the rule. For any number, it is satisfying the given statement. Hence, answer is only one alone is sufficient, but not two alone. Next. Chef Lucky is preparing a sweet for a friend's birthday. How much more of substance X does she need than substance Z? So how much quantity of X is required than Y? That's what your question. Now, Lucky needs 10 cups of substance X. But here in first statement, you just know that we need 10 cups of substance X. But how much is the difference between X and Z? We cannot decide. One alone is definitely not sufficient. Next, Lucky needs the substance WXYZ in the respective ratio 15, 5 to 1, and she needs 4 cups of substance Y. So Y is third number here, which is equal to 2 parts. You know that 2 parts is equal to 4 cups. Now your question is to identify difference between quantity of X and Z. Quantity of X is 5 parts and Z is 1 part. Difference is 4 parts. So 4 parts is the difference between X and Z substances. That is equal to how much? Can we answer this question using this information? Definitely yes. Hence 2 alone is sufficient, but not 1 alone sufficient. Next. A shopkeeper bought a tie and a belt during a sale. Which item did he buy at the greatest value? At which particular highest value he purchased the item? That's what you are asked to calculate. On which item, whether it is a tie or a belt, which is highest in terms of price, that's what we have to calculate. He bought tie at a discount of 20%. So on tie, he made 20% discount. But whereas he bought belt, first statement is not sufficient to answer the question. On belt, he is getting 25% discount. Now, using 2 alone also, we will not get the answer. Using 1 alone also, we will not get the answer. That is clear. If you use both statements, on tie when there is 20% discount, he will be paying 80%. And on belt when he is getting 25% discount, he will be paying 75%. But which is the highest price? You cannot say 80% is the highest price because you don't know what exactly is the market price of the tie and what exactly is the market price of the belt. I'll give you a simple example. See, on first car, on car 1, showroom guys are giving 5% discount. And on another car, second car, on that 40% discount is given. So which car is the highest price? Based on this information, as you are getting more discount here when there is 5%, you'll have to pay 95%. When there is 40%, you'll have to pay 60%. So most of the people think that car 1 is higher price. But cost of original car 1 and car 2, they are important. Suppose if this is Maruti car and if this is Rolls Royce, on Maruti car the price itself would be probably 6 lakh or so, and if it is Rolls Royce that will be 3 crores. So on 6 lakh when you get 5% discount, and on 3 crores even if you get 40% discount, which is the higher side? Car 2 is the higher side. So we cannot decide that unless and until if you know actual values of first car and then second car. The same logic applies here. As you don't know how much is the tie cost and how much is the belt cost, market price, they are not given. So hence answer cannot be determined. Next. How much is in the account after 1 year, 2 years and 3 years? amount that will be there after a year, after 2 years, and after 3 years. A principal of 2000 is placed in a savings account at 3% per annum compounded annually. A principal of 2000 rupees is placed. So initial money is 2000. Savings account and at 3% per annum compound interest annually. So after 1 year, you can increase this value by 3%. You can definitely calculate this. And again, after one more year, if you again increase 3% on this, you'll get second year value. Again, after one more year, if you increase this value by 3%, definitely you can calculate because you know the initial value and percentage increase every year 3%. One alone is definitely sufficient to answer the question. And second information says compound interest of 4 years is 3000. That is none of our business, and using this information, it is impossible to calculate your principal unless and until if you know the rate of interest. So second information is not at all useful for us. Only one alone is sufficient, but not two alone. Next, is circle radius and length of the rectangle equal? You just need to say either yes or no. When can you answer? If you know how much is radius and how much is length of the rectangle. If you know these values, we can decide whether they are equal or not. Circumference of the circle is given. Using first information, what is that we can calculate r, but we cannot compare both the values because length is not there. Area of the rectangle is given where breadth is given. When you know area of the rectangle, that is length into breadth is there, and also you know breadth value. Using second information, what is that we can calculate? We can calculate length. 2 alone is not sufficient because radius is not there. But if you use both statements, you know radius and you know length, and you can compare whether they are equal or not. So both statements together will give you answer. Next, here, look at this information. We have a line graph. Whatever information given in line graph, we have to convert into table because numbers are not there. So better hold this question and check what exactly is there from 61 onwards. Here we have table information. Out of these two, here we have total visitors, percentage of male visitors. Here also we have total visitors and percentage of male visitors. Percentage calculations are required here. But in 56, if you can convert data into table, probably it may take a minute time, but once after converting it, you don't have to use any conversions. Directly you can pick values and then answer. So I prefer out of these two, 56 only. So let's start with this. Now we will be having 20 values, 25 values like P, Q, R, S, T. Triangle is 20. Here it is 130, 180, 160, 110. Why? How am I taking? Because there is a gap of 0 to 50. If it is exactly middle, I'll take it as middle number 75. Now, thinking that 0 to 50, there will be 5 lines here. Each line occupies 10. It is above the half between 50 and 100. So that cannot be 70. That should be 80. Likewise, here also, this is above the half of the value. So it is 180. This is just above 150. Hence it is 160. Like that, we have to convert values. And for our simplification purpose, I made already converted values ready for you. And here is the table. Once if you convert values like this, given in line graph to table, then you just need to look at the table and answer the question. Average number of girls in college R and S in the year 2025 is 72. R and S 2025 average is 72. Then total number of girls here we have R and then S. Total number of girls are 72, 2 times that is equal to 144. And then number of boys in S was 56 more than that in college R. In the same year, number of girls in college S was what percent more than that in college R. Right now, you know the total boys and girls from R and S together in 2025 is 200 plus 280, which is equal to 480. Now out of 480, when you already have 144, remaining is 336. They are boys. Now at the same time, we have relation between boys in college R and then S. In college S, we are going to have 56 more number of boys than college R. So keep 56 separate. Now you'll have 280. Equally divide 280. Here you'll have 140, and here also you should have 140 plus 56, that is equal to 196. And at the same time, in college R, we have total 200 people. In college R, when you have total 200, number of girls are 60. Out of 144, 60 are already here. Then remaining is 84. Now, what is your question? Number of girls in college S was what percent more than college R? College S, we have 84. 84 is how much more than 60? 24 more with respect to 60 percentage into 100. 25 times here, 23 times here, 3, 8 times here, 5 into 8, 40 percentage, second option answer. Number of students in 2025 in college D was what percent less than that in 2020? College 2025 T value, that is 320, was what percent less than 2020? Here we have 400. With respect to 400, 320 is 80 less. 80 with respect to 400 is 20 percentage. Fifth option, direct answer. Number of students in college yes in 2020. Yes in college 2020 are what percent of total number of students in college P in both years? College P both years we have 200. So 110 is what percentage of 200? 2 zeros, 2 zeros, 110 by 2 in the sense that is 55%, second option. In the year 2026, which is not there, in 2026, where is this? Yes, in the year 2026, the number of students in college R was 40% more than the same college in 2020. College R 2020, we have 160. With respect to this number, in 2026, we are going to have 40% more. 10 percentage is 16, 40 percentage is 16, 4 times. 16 double, 32 double, 64. 160, 64, that is equal to 224. And then number of students in college R in 2026 was how many more than number of the same in 2025? In 2025, we have 200 people. Now your question is to identify difference between both, that is equal to 24 students, second option answer. What is the difference between number of students in college PQ together in the year 2020? PQ together in 2020, that is 260, and the same colleges together in 2025. Same colleges together in 2025, we have 340. Your question is to identify difference between both, that is equal to 80 members. First option answer. So look at this, how easy it is when you convert given data into table. That becomes easy one. Now, if you understand this information, next set, here we have days Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Museum A, number of visitors and percentage of male visitors. Museum B, number of visitors, percentage of male visitors. Right, now Monday and Tuesday together, and that during Wednesday and Thursday together. What is this question? Monday and Tuesday together, that during, there is question, something is left. Monday and Tuesday together, and that during Wednesday and Thursday. There has to be something else which is missing here. So let me check the actual question. Right, in Museum A, there is something missing in my tab. In Museum A, what is the difference between total number of male visitors? In Museum A, you are asked to calculate what is the difference between total number of male visitors. In Museum A, difference between male visitors during Monday, Tuesday together, and that during Wednesday and then Thursday together. So first we have to calculate how many male are there in Monday, Tuesday in Museum A. Monday, we have 30 percentage of male in 190. 30 percentage is equal to 10%, 19, 3 times, which is equal to 57. And then here we have 40%, 10 percentage double double, 10 percentage is 28, double, 56 double, 112. And here we have 60%. How do we get 60%? 10% double and triple is better. 10 percentage is 35, double 70, 70 double 210 is. And then here we have 35%, 400 out of 400, 35 percentage, or 400% of 35. 400% of 35 is 4 times of 35. Otherwise, 35 into 1%, 35 4 times, that is equal to 140. Now, Monday, Tuesday together, we have 169 male, and Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday together, we have 350. Now, your question is to identify difference between both. Instead of subtracting 169, you subtract 200, add 31 later. When you subtract 200, 150, add 31, 181, third option answer. Next. In Museum B, the respective ratio of female visitors during Tuesday, Friday was 2:3. Tuesday and then Friday was 2:3. In Museum B, ratio between female visitors. If female visitors constituted 50% of total number of visitors during Friday, what was the total number of visitors in Museum B on Friday? Right. Now look at this. First thing they are talking about female visitors only. First thing they are talking about only female visitors. Right. In Museum B on Tuesday, when we have 50% of male here out of 188, remaining 50% are female, that is equal to 94. 94 is equal to 2 parts, then 1 part is equal to this much. If Tuesday female are 2 parts, Friday they are 3 parts. 94 is equal to 2 parts, 1 part is this much, and we need to know 3 parts is how much. If a female constituted 50% of the number of total male female during Friday, what was the number of visitors in Museum B on Friday? Now if female are 3 parts here, which is equal to 50% of total male and female, then male are also 50%, that is also should be 6, that is also should be 3 parts. 3 parts plus 3 parts, total should be equal to 6 parts. Now 2 3 times here, 93 is 270, 4 3 is 12, 270 12, 282 final answer. Remember, Friday when we have 50% female, remaining 50% are male only. Female, here from the ratio we know that they are 3 parts. If female are 3 parts, male are also 3 parts, then total we have 6 parts. Hence 1 part multiplied by 6 I am going for, and we are getting 282 as final answer. Next, in Museum A, during Wednesday, 30% of male visitors and 70% of female visitors were from School X. What was the total number of visitors in Museum A from School X during Wednesday? Wednesday, we have 210 male people. When we have 210 male people out of 350, remaining 140 are female only. Now your question is to identify how many people are from School X. Out of male, 30% are from School X. 10% is 21, 30% is 63. And out of female, 70% are from School X. 70%. 10% into 7. 10% is 14. 14 7 times is 98. Now 60, 90, 150. 3 plus 8, 11. 150, 11, 161. 161, third option answer. Number of visitors, male, female in Museum A and B increased by 5% and 15% respectively from Thursday to Saturday. Thursday to Saturday they are saying. If number of female visitors in Museum AB together was equal during Thursday and Saturday, what was the total number of male visitors in Museum AB together on Saturday? Now they're talking about total number of visitors in Museum AB increased by 5% and 15% from Thursday to Saturday. Thursday we have 400 in Museum A, 320 in Museum B. Let's come here. In Museum A, when you have 400, and in Museum B, we already have 320. This is on Thursday. But from Thursday to Friday, first value increased by 5%, second value increased by 15%. 5% of this number is 20, it becomes 420. And 15% of this number, 10% is 32. 5% is 16. 32, 16, 48. 320, 48, that is equal to 368. These are on Saturday. Right. Now, what exactly they are saying? If the total number of female visitors in Museum AB together was equal during Thursday and Saturday. So here, out of total people, out of total people, Thursday and Saturday, there are same number of female. What is your question? What was the total number of male people in Museum AB on Saturday? So far, Saturday total people are 788. From this, if you subtract female, then you are done with the answer. And you know that already Thursday out of 400, if 140 are male, 260 are female. So here we have to subtract 260 female from Museum A, and in Museum B 75% are male, remaining 25% are female. 25% of 320 is equal to 80. Now 260 female are there in Museum A and 80 female are there in Museum B. Total together it is equal to 340. When you subtract 340, 700 minus 300, 400. 88 minus 40, that is equal to 48. So there are 448 male people, which is first option. What is the average number of male visitors in Museum B during Monday, Wednesday, Thursday? Monday we have 40% of 480. How do we get 40%? 10% double double. 10 percentage is 48, double 96, 96 double 192. Then Wednesday they are 60% of 200, easy to calculate, that is 120. 10 percentage into 2. Now Thursday we have 75% of 320. For previous question we already calculated that Thursday there are 80 girls here, 80 female here. Out of 320, if 80 are female, remaining 240 are male candidates. Your question is to identify average. Let's add the sum here. 100, 100, 200, 400, 90, 20, 40. That is 150. Total 550. And then last digit is 2. To convert into average, by 3. 3 ones here, 25. 8 times 24. 12 we have. That is equal to 4. 184. First option is our answer. So for this paper, this is a strategy, and this is a way how we are supposed to solve these questions. We'll meet in next session. Thank you.